Alright, NoGoodGamer here. And today we're going to be checking out, well, for you guys, you're going to be checking out Alchemy Factory. This is one of the games that I'm thinking of doing another series on, and one of my, I should say, submissions, I guess, to the community to see what people say, if anybody has any reactions to this as a possible series next. Um, this game is actually pretty interesting to me. It's a combination of like a factory game and like a storefront game. So if you've ever played a game where you have to like manage a storefront and like sell stuff and like make sure you have money, that's kind of how this game works. But you use these factories, like you set up these production lines, and you feed raw materials in to create the things that you end up selling. And so it's a good combination of both the things. Um, they recently added sandbox, so you can go in there and like build your blueprints and stuff like that. I've got some blueprints. I don't know if I have any that I can use immediately early game, but I've got quite a few blueprints already set up. The No Good Alchemist, and apparently they have multiplayer for it. But the way that this game works, let me turn up my sensitivity a little bit. I don't know why it feels so low. There we go, that feels a little more normal. So these are like the raw materials. You got iron ore, logs, limestone. These are the basic ones. And then later on you have like seeds for crops, as well as like getting rock salt, pyrite, quartz, rotten logs for like mushrooms and stuff, coal. What's really nice later though is these portal sigils that you can use to automatically purchase all this stuff to feed into your lines. These are unique because they don't get pushed onto belts, so you can use them to kind of like block off sections of inventory so you don't overfill. And once we unlock this is going to be able to automatically cash out customers so we don't have to do it ourselves. Because you'll see here in just a second, or here in a minute, that I'm going to go ahead and buy our first slot. Because if you look at the top right, we now have 6,000, we had 10,000. But you do that, and then where is, what was it? Is it Z? Yeah. Z, you go into your research, and it's pretty extensive, but fairly linear, and it definitely goes along with a pretty smooth production line. But the money that we're going to be earning, that's what you spend on your research, and that's also what you spend on your raw materials to get everything going. So realistically, your shop is what keeps your factory moving. If you can't sell anything, you can't build anything. It's pretty much as simple as that. Get all these researched up real quick. And I also want to get my incline conveyors. Let me see, do I have any blueprints I can use early? Wrong button. So if you go into your build menu with Q, this is like all your stuff, but then you have your blueprints. And I think that one still takes nails. I thought I had some earlier ones. Like, doesn't look like it though. So for the beginning, what we're going to end up needing is 20 large wooden gears and plank. I thought I bought one of these. I guess I was talking about it and I just never actually bought any. Get a few of those, but when you go to your mailbox, you get your main quest, which will be what you need to do to progress. You have loans too, so if you like run out of money and you're at the level for how much you can take a loan out for, you can do that, but shouldn't really be necessary. I've never had to. I mean, I did once just because I wanted something and then paid it back literally the next day because I made enough money. But what we're going to be doing is getting large gears, and normally way you can do the figure out how to do that is like if you hit V, it'll bring up all your material lists and you can see like what's going to sell for what. So like large gears we can sell in our shop for 5 copper a piece. planks you have to make from logs, and then the large wooden gears you have to make from the planks with a grinder. So what we'll do is you have to use one of these, I forget what it's actually called, the table saw. And I'm just going to set up a little spot right here just to get things going. For wood, the way that these, the speed these go at is 30 a minute. And if you look at your belts, or I think I have to look at it in V, or no, it was your character screen, because it's your character stats tab. World, there we go. Conveyor belt speed and conveyor lift speed, they level together, but we're at 60 a minute, so we need 2 of these to be able to make one belt come out at full speed. So you can just click, drag, and go like that. You can't go more than 1 turn, but you don't really need to go any further than that. So we'll do that, and then this is the grinder. Stick one on here, and then once it gets something in here, we can check it. These are 10 a minute. So 6 of these will be enough to get a full belt of these large gears. I'll do that, and then I'll grab a chest. You know what, I'll actually use that first one, because I'll just do it like that. And that's our first super simple, basic production line setup. And eventually we'll have a thing we can stick in the front of this, and then we'll have the money that gets deposited into our cashiers from people buying stuff. It'll belt out, and then we'll have it go into that, and then it'll buy the logs for these production lines and stuff like that, and then feed it so it'll automatically do this. And then all we'll really have to do later is just worry about making sure production lines are working fine and building up new ones and progressing. But right now, we've got plenty of large gears to go complete this first main quest. And see how that guy just walked up and then stood there? It's because I don't have anything for sale yet, which is completely fine. I don't really want to sell anything just yet. I want to be able to get some rope and start getting some things set up. But to sell, we need these. And I've got a way that I like to do this. So what I'm going to do is get my little personal box set up for my build materials. So I'll put 2 of these down. Oop, wrong button. And then bring out that. Go with a straight on chest, and I'm just going to do this. And I'm going to go buy 1 more log. And you'll need to do this for a lot of stuff. I could just leech off of this and stick a chest on the end of here and just kind of have like half of this one collect for me, but we're going to need a lot of wood for building. Because like this takes 5, this takes 6, these take 6 apiece, these take 1 apiece. Building up structures with these are 1 apiece. This thing takes 20, these take 16. Like everything takes... Nearly everything takes wood anyway, but early on, everything takes wood. So I'm going to get this stuff because I want... Doesn't look like I have them yet, but I can just do this with tables, no big deal. What I like to do is I set up a flat area up here where I can have belts coming across and everything, and then I get pre-set up. I'll start from this end so I know what my gap looks like. If you put it right here, oop, that way. Will you stop doing that? Why is it? It's not letting me drag left. There we go. So, I want to leave a gap here because I'm going to want to put some over here too. But this is where we'll sell our goods. And we'll get these little thrower things later that we can use for stocking those. So now I'm going to learn stuff for making stone. And then a way to process it, and then what we're going to be making out of stone. This is going to be one of our, early on, this is our main source of income. So that's why I'm pushing it as fast as I can. I'm going to try to keep this first episode fairly short. I'll show, you know, this first little section of setting up and starting to sell. I may, you know, pause the recording there and get a little bit more built up to show what things look like. And, you know, put that out there so you guys can see what's going on with this game overall. Because right now it looks kind of boring, but it gets pretty crazy. Like, almost all of these buildings are purchasable for land. So like how I bought this spot, I can do the same right here. And as you see how it's glowing green, that's this corner. So it's the same size as here, it just pushes to this corner. And then the same thing for this spot and that spot, and then that corner right there. And then on top of that, you can even buy these plots over on this other side, and up there you can buy them. Right here across the street you can buy them. You can buy this one, and I think that's about as far as it goes. It goes to like right here, that, and then that chunk that's over here, the center area that we start with essentially, and then these edge right here. And I don't think this side has any that we can buy. Yeah, no, but it's all of that, and they get progressively more expensive, obviously. Like this one, which is one of the last ones we buy on this section, is 10,000 copper, which is not terrible. It's not super hard to get to that point. 15,000 for this one, but where it gets real expensive is when you start like crossing the street. 150 silver. That's 150,000 copper. Because I think it's 100 gold for a silver, and then 1,000 silver for a copper or something like that, or 100 silver for a gold, and I think 1,000 copper for a silver. Because I think the upgrade to gold wasn't as big. I don't remember. Oh yeah, and when you level up, you get talent points, and this is what I was talking about with the conveyor belt and lifter speed. They go together, but a lot of times early on, at least the way that I like to do it, there are other people who have dedicated a lot more time into this game and have a lot more information than I do. But what I like to do is make sure that I do my production, my factory speeds, and my belt speeds at the same time, because then it's really easy to keep your belts balanced alongside your production facilities. Now we're looking at 75 or something like that. What's our yeah, 75 per minute is now what we're doing on there. And what I'm talking about is if you upgrade your belts without upgrading your production stuff, things will, like, this is just full now, but like these now do 37.5 per minute. So both of those together, that's 75. So if I would have increased the belts without increasing production, we wouldn't have enough wood to go onto here. It would still match these, but it would just be all spaced out and slow and not proper. But let's go ahead and get our first chunk of what's going to make us some money. Should be 2 of these to 3 of the other thing, or 4 of the other things, but I'm gonna do, there it is. So the way I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna go right there where it's facing that way, and then if you hit T, I can swap it to the other side so that the belts are right next to each other. And then I'm gonna go into here and have it do this. So it's going to be 18.8 in, basically, I think it's 4 or 5 of these, but I think it's 4, is a full belt of stone in. But what I'll do is I can just set both of those, hit B, and then click and drag to do that. and then hit F to confirm, and it'll copy the exact thing and the position and everything. So you can go like that and get that put in. And then if I want to be real stingy about this, I can set up another spot. Well, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I just remembered. Stone requires 3 to a belt, because these go 25 a minute instead of the 37. So you need 3 for 1 belt. That was the thing I was messing up. But if I really want to get down and dirty, I can do that. And because these don't equal a full belt, see what I'm talking about with the wood? Because you put 18.8 in, you only get 3.8 out. We can get quite a bit more of this if we just double up this little production line. And all I would have to do is hit B again, but if you hit shift while click dragging, it'll give you this like box of what it's selecting. And I can just set it to there, let go of shift, hit F, it'll be the same setup. And since the output is less than what's going in, I can now bring this to here and then roll this over to right there. And then I'm just gonna replace that with another one so it doesn't have that wonky right turn thing. It wouldn't have set anything there because it was going inward, but it just looks weird. And then with that, we can take in a couple chests right here for the mortars that we'll be getting in. And now let's see if we can get 6 limestone. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. About drained our money. But this is what we're going to end up selling. I don't have any more wood for stuff to sell for this, but that's actually fine right now. And now you'll see as they're coming out, this corner is about the only spot we'll see because I built pretty close to where everything is. Or actually right here you can see it's a nice solid full belt. And if you watch these, they produce and then they don't back up. So it should be the right amount. So yeah, 18, 18, 36, be 37.6 times 2, 70. Yeah, it's it's a little off from the exact number, but at this point we are now making mortars. And honestly, I just kind of have to let it run and build up for a second, because yes, I am out of money, but I can come into here, I can set that for mortar, that for mortar, and I can set, should probably just set up my small gears, because you can get a lot of small gears into just one spot. The mortars, you can only stick 6 into one of these, so I'll start sticking stuff in here. So you can only put 6 in each of them, but if I go over here and I make another one of these, and I'll do this. So then we'll just bring this out and stick that there because we don't need much. This will give us like a third of the belt. And that bell you just heard, that means we have a customer waiting. But I'll do that right there. And then set these to small gears. And small gears. And you see it takes 6.2 in, but gives you 18.8 out. So we'll get a lot more out of this. And then I'll just stick another chest down. Connect that up. Now I'm going to go in here, hit E, and I just made 48. Grab that back, make sure it's restocked, and keep selling mortars. Yeah, the way the money works out, the way I know that works is if you look at back in V under goods, mortars sell for 48 a piece, they take 5 stone. Now, this makes 150 stone from 1 rock for 600. So, that's 30. I think you can make 30 mortars out of 1 rock. And that would be, what, 30 times 48? So honestly, 4, 8, 12, 240, so... what was it? 120, 144, 1440? So yeah, you'd go from spending 600 copper to getting 1440 copper back if you just made nothing but mortars out of this. And that dude just bought 7, so 300. So I can already afford another one of those limestones. Sorry to those of you that had to sit there and listen to my mental math. But now I can go ahead and grab a few more logs. I'm gonna grab one more. Oh, I don't have enough for one more. But I'm gonna go log, so I can get that going again. I'll stick one on here too, because I'm out of my personal stash. But now that I've got these hooked up, so yeah, we'll be getting 25 per minute out of here, and we only need 12.4. So one of these could feed both of these. So I can set up 2 more of these if I want. But I'm already getting a half a belt out of this, which is actually a decent amount. But you know what? Yeah, I'm going to get more. Do it like that. And then make sure that continues. Hit B, shift from here, F, and then force click it onto there. That makes sure that it connects on both sides and comes across, and then I just disconnect that. And now we'll have a full belt. Go over here, keep restocking. And this is why you want a cashier. Money. The cashier kind of just sticks onto here, then you bring a belt off of it and lead it wherever you need it. Yeah, now we're making those gears pretty quickly. I also can't wait until these restock on their own. But, oh yeah, and there's side quests too. So I can stick these on my head real quick. And then I'm gonna grab more wood. Thought I hit the button. Just want to stick one on there. Grab that. I only have 172 right now. Once we get a little bit more wood, we can unlock the, or finish that carpenter's quest. To get those boxes. It probably looks like a decorative thing, but realistically it's just an easier platform to build in a smaller space, rather than using tables that take up this section. One of those things we're going to unlock only takes up like this square right here. Gimme. Yeah, like I said, a lot of these small gears can fit in this box. But they do also buy multiple at a time. Like how that guy just bought like 3 mortars. They'll buy like 10 of these at once sometimes. And what's funny is that seeing this empty makes you tempted to just go buy more limestone and refill it, but honestly, I'm just gonna keep holding on to the mortars until I start running out of them, and then I'll buy some more. Because otherwise you end up putting way too much money into production before you can even sell it. It's like, imagine you're running a corner store and you buy enough product at one time to fill your store 10 times just so you'll have it. But the problem is you ran out of money and it's not selling fast enough, and most of that product is going to rot. That's the idea behind it, basically. Except for the rot part. You don't really waste here. It's mostly about burning money without being able to get it back, because then you'll get stuck in a position where you can't do anything. Because you'll end up with somebody of like a weak product that you can't even sell properly. We're almost back over 1,000 again. And just on basic stuff. Yeah, this part right here, like I said, is kind of boring to watch initially. But once I get into the real builds, things get a little intense. I mean, like I said, I have blueprints. Like the Jupiter blueprint. Let me see. Oh yeah, it won't even let me pull it up because I don't have all of that unlocked. Yeah, I'll have to show you guys. But maybe that'll have to be saved for if you guys decide that you want me to push this series. Because right now I'm just, you know, hello, working as a cashier essentially. Oh no, I'm out of gears again. There's another almost 200. And I think these stack to 100. No, these stack to 200. And it's full. Hello. Just stocked that guy. Thank you for your purchase. But that's my little preview of Alchemy Factory so far. If you guys actually want to see me push any more of it and start getting into more complex builds like this stuff that you'll get into later, I've only gotten as far as unlocking these and not quite using them yet. And that's with dozens of hours on a single save. So a lot of it does take time, but I will definitely, if you guys do want me to do these as my next series, it would be cut up tastefully so you could see like a part of the design process, the final product, what it's doing, where I'm going with it, what's cool about it. Maybe I'll have tips and tricks on little things that I find personally that helps. Some of it you can find the information elsewhere on the internet as well, because there's I guarantee there's at least a handful of the stuff that I do in here I learned from a YouTuber somewhere at some point in the past, and I just cannot find the video or remember who it was. I would love to give credit, but unfortunately my memory is absolutely terrible for things like that. So, and that's stuff that I had been looking into for my own personal benefit. It wasn't even a matter of for my YouTube. But you know, leave a like, you know, hopefully subscribe if you want to see more stuff, and leave a comment if you think this is a good game for me to go with, a bad game for me to go with, or if you have a game recommendation. I like factory games, I play MOBAs, I do like MMOs, however, I'm steering clear of WoW because I'm not going to pay for something that I feel should be free at this point in time. But, you know, let me know